Namanda, 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 namanda. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Dharma School service. It's nice to be here on this first service we're having in May. We have 2 or 3 more coming up, some special stuff. But for now, let's do Sutra Chanting. Today we're going to recite Gassho to Amida, which is in the blue binder under G, right there. Namanda, 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 namanda. Namu Amida Butsu, I recite Amida's name with deep joy and gratitude. I Gassho to Amida, trees and grasses and flowers all grow in his compassion. His light shines throughout the world. I Gassho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I Gassho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I Gassho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. His voice and my voice are one. I Gassho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namu Amida Butsu. Then I feel him take my hand. I Gassho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play. Every day with Amida. Every moment filled with light. I Gassho to Amida. Remember the golden chain. Kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the the darkness of the night, I Gassho to Amida. Namu Amida Butsu. I live in his compassion. His great power guides my life. I Gassho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Ganni shikudoku byodo seisai dohoten bodaishin ojo an dakok. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. So this May, we've actually got a lot of special stuff going on. The main special service we have is called Gotan-e. Sometimes we call it Fujimatsuri. And what we're doing is we're celebrating Shinran Shonin's birthday. This year is a really special one because this year is 850 years since Shinran was born. And so you might notice, where is Reverend Endo? He's in Japan. A lot of people went to Japan because they're having this very special celebration in Japan this month. I didn't go, so we'll be doing our Shinran Shonin service not next week, but 2 weeks from now, and we'll have Dharma School. So I hope you're able to come. But I wanted to talk about Shinran Shonin a little bit, and we actually have, Shinran is the founder of this school of Buddhism, Jodo Shinshu. So we got actually lots of pictures and images of Shinran, so I wanted to share some of them with you. And a lot of them are here in the building. So here's Shinran Shonin. Now, one of my favorite bands is Rush. They're from Canada. And they broke up, but on their last tour, which I saw, they did their songs in reverse chronological order. Do you know what that means? It's hard, yeah, reverse chronological order. It means backwards in time. So rather than start at the beginning and then go to the end, they started at the end and went to the beginning.
That's like time.
Yeah, right? So the words make sense, but sometimes you don't know all of them, right? Chronological means time. Reverse just means backwards, right? And so I thought, let's look at pictures of Shinran Shonin from when he was oldest and go to as early pictures as I have, or as early images that I have, okay? So here we go. Have you ever seen that one? I think everyone's seen, if you came in this room, you can't help but see this image, right? And so this is the one that's in the hallway, the statue out there in that little lobby, okay? Then, this one's a little hard to see on the screen, but it's also hard when you come up to do oshoko, when you do incense. You see Amida in the middle, and then behind me on my side. I don't know if you can see that from there, but that's the picture, right? So next time, maybe 2 weeks from now when you come and you do oshoko, you can see that Shinran Shonin is on my side behind me. Oh, this one's a little easier to see maybe. This is a famous image of Shinran. He has the cool eyebrows. He has this interesting cowl around his neck, a kind of scarf. He has a big nenju like this one, and he's kind of holding it like this, right? And he's got slippers, and he has a cane. So this picture is probably from, what, 70s or 80s, when he was in his 70s or 80s. Okay, so we're still at senior Shinran. Oh, this is called the Kagami image, and it probably looks familiar, huh? This image is kind of hard to see too, but this is just a simple line drawing. He still has the really long nenju though, and this is why you've seen this one. Boom, you recognize that? Yeah, you can't come in here without seeing that one. That one's in the hall, in the staircase. This giant image of Shinran that Dharma School students made before I was born. Over 50 years ago they made that, and it's still here. Each student drew on one tile, and then they put all the tiles together to make this image. So that picture is the same as this one. It's based on this one. Okay? So this is all Shinran older, right? So I thought, do we have any pictures of younger Shinran? And we do. See, on the left, that's Shinran's teacher, Honen. And on the right is Shinran. Has anyone seen this picture before?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you know where this picture is? I can see it from here. It's in the library. Yep, see? Yeah, huh. Isn't that a cool picture? You probably didn't even realize it. But we have this really neat picture. So it says, Honen Shonin 69 sai. So Honen is 69 years old in this picture. Shinran Shonin 29 sai, 29. So this is a picture of Shinran when he was 29 years old. So we're getting younger, right? We went from like 70s, 80s, and now we're at 29 years old. I wonder what's next. Shinran Shonin 9 sai, 9 years old. That's 9-year-old Shinran. And I know it's kind of hard to see. This is my picture, I think, that I took in Japan. And I took this picture like 20 years ago, so it's really low resolution. But I think I have a couple of more better ones. Yeah, how's that? So this is also young Shinran, 9 years old. Huh, closer to Dharma School age, right? The 29-year-old is kind of, well, that's past junior Y age, but here at 9 years old, we're closer to Dharma School age, right? And I got one more. Boom, look at that. I like this determination, right? This wonderful statue of young Shinran. So when we do Shinran Shonin's birthday, it's kind of interesting. We're thinking birth, right? He was born, age 0, age 1 minute, age 1 week, 1 month, right? But for some reason, in Japan, when they have pictures for Gotane, they think of Shinran at age 9. And I think I might know why. It's because age 9, he became a monk. He was ordained at age 9. And so in a way, that's birth into a new life. Like I did it too, but I was about 34, 33 when I got ordination, when I kind of born into this new life. So maybe that's one way we can think of this. But, you know, Shinran Shonin is just really, really so wonderful. It's because of Shinran Shonin that we can have Buddhism like this. Right? This is so special to have Buddhism for everybody. Right? I got Dharma School, I got first grade, we almost have baby, right? Maybe not right here, right now, right? But we can have this little, all the way up. I'm not going to reveal the ages of the people on the right side, but I bet some are at least in their 70s. They look like in their 70s, but they might be in their 80s. Anyone 90? You don't have to raise your hand, but right, we're getting there. Isn't that amazing? Shinran Shonin, age 9. You might be a little younger than age 9, right? Or a lot younger than age 9, all the way up to 90s. Actually, we've got 2 members. You know how old the oldest members are? We want to guess?
No, 100.
Close.
101.
Close.
102.
Yeah, 102 years old, right? So we have members of all ages, and that's, to me, one of the best parts of our kind of Buddhism. Now, there's another aspect of our Buddhism. I'm going to stop sharing the screen so people online can see this, because our Buddhism can also be thought of as BU Buddhism, right? BU Buddhism. Our Buddhism, we can learn about Buddhism, we try our best, but we can also be ourselves. Be yourself Buddhism. So that reminds me, I'm going to close with this. Oh, before I forget though, little advertisement. These are available downstairs. These are for Dharma School fundraiser, right? So you can get a BU Buddhism bag. This is a bag, or you can get the Buddha Loves You bunch T-shirt. Okay, and if you're online, you can order them on the website too. You don't have to be here in person. So buy those to support our Dharma School. I'm reminded of the 3 B's, so I'm going to leave you with this. The 3 B's. Be aware, be kind, and be yourself. Okay? Be aware, try to be aware of everything as much as you can. Be kind, be nice to each other, be nice to yourself. That's a big message of Buddhism. And be yourself. That it's okay to be yourself. Okay? So thank you very much. I'm going to put up a picture of Shinran again one more time, because I like these. Which one should we put up? What's your favorite one? This one?
9 years old.
9 years old? Yeah, this one's pretty good, huh? So let's have this one. And so as we think about Shinran Shonin, thank you, Shinran, for giving us Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Let's put our hands together in Gassho and recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Nam. Okay, thank you. Let's excuse our Dharma School students to class. You can come up and do Oshoku if you didn't have a chance to already. Actually, adults can too. Then we'll continue with our Dharma Family service. Yeah. Oh. Okay. They already took off, maybe? Oh, no, they're right there. You want to bring them up and just say hi to them?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. On the screen, if you're on, oh, it's gone now, but we do have that information about the t-shirt and bag sale online. But if you're in person, we got a table downstairs and you can grab them. All right. So, you may see the books being passed out, and it's because we're going to recite the three treasures, which is on page 3 in that small purple book. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namam Nabutsu. Namam Nabutsu. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I'm going to share my. I'm going to share my screen again. This Shinran Shonin's birthday is a big deal this year, given that we have this 850th special recognition of Shinran Shonin's birth. I'm actually wearing the wagesa I'm wearing, this blue one, is from the 750th service for his passing, so his memorial service. This one's pretty neat because it has these images of waves, kind of like on the ocean, harking to when he was exiled and had to ride in a boat up off to Echigo, to the boonies, right? And had to restart his life as a layperson. He was brought back into the ministry later in date, but just a big change in his life. But this one now is focusing more on his birth, which I think is great because Shinran Shonin to me is one of the most not important but very unique Buddhist figure. And one of the main things that is so different about Shinran is that he was a monk. This is before the exile. He was a monk and he got married. Right? He's a married monk. Monks in Buddhism are supposed to be celibate. Right? There's one of the main rules is that you're celibate, meaning you don't take on a spouse, you don't get married, right? And you don't do the act that creates children, right? And so this as the absolute kind of really important aspect of monasticism, and Shinran got married. After Shinran, he had got married and he had children. Right? And so we hear about his daughter Kakushinni, whose role was to take care of the mausoleum where Shinran's ashes were. We hear about Kakunyo and Zonkaku and Renyo over on the other side there. And they're all descendants of Shinran. And in the hallway behind the statue are descendants of Shinran. The former Gomonshu and his wife on the right side, and then on the left side is our current Gomonshu, our current abbot of our school. And so ever since Shinran, it's been a married priesthood. In Japan, Buddhist monks aren't monks. Most, if not all, Buddhist monks get married. They have to take care of their family temple. The family owns the temple, and traditionally patrilinear succession from father to oldest son to oldest son to oldest son. There can be changes in there. Middle son or oldest daughter marries someone else, gets adopted in, right? But this idea of this married priesthood, and they are taking care of the temple, right, is just really a big part of all Japanese Buddhism, really. But with Jodo Shinshu, it goes back to Shinran. It's not something made up in the past 100 years or 150 years, right? It's built into the teachings. So that's something that I really appreciate about it. So I'm going to put my blank screen up again, but it's not blank. It's blank for a reason, because let's look at this picture again. I wanted to show this picture one more time. And once again, this is Shinran on the right at age 29. So he has joined Honen's group. And then his teacher Honen on the left. And Honen was a huge figure in Japanese Buddhism. Honen takes Jodo Shinshu, or not Jodo Shinshu, he takes Pure Land Buddhism, which was normally seen as just one part of many. And Pure Land Buddhism was kind of seen as inferior Buddhism for inferior people. Right? That sure, if you're a peasant or you're a farmer, just say Nembutsu and that's enough. You don't have to do all this other stuff. Honen takes it and makes it a school in itself. It's because of Honen that we have a Pure Land school. Right? So Honen, even though he's a high-level monk, really well respected, and stays ordained or observes the precepts till the end of his life, but he also sees that Pure Land Buddhism, the Nembutsu, is for anyone and everyone, and preaches it to anyone and everyone. Right? And when Shinran is in his group, it seems like maybe Shinran, sexuality was his issue. Right? That was the struggle that he had, something you're not supposed to do as a monk and supposed to get rid of, and he couldn't. So is he out of luck? Go somewhere else? Find some other religion? Not according to Honen. Honen says, come on in. In fact, why don't you get married? Why don't you marry her? We think now there's new evidence that says that Eshinni was maybe a member of Honen's group, right? And that Honen has them get married. Right? Or that they get married partly as being part of this group, and maybe partly to prove a point. You can be a bad monk and get married and still be embraced by Amida Buddha. Right? So these dynamics are really part of our tradition and so much a part of Shinran and his story. So there's, later on when you leave, maybe as you're going out, you'll see that picture, this woodblock print in the library, but this is only the bottom half. And I only show the bottom half because I want to show the picture, right? But if you look at the real thing, it's got Japanese writing at the top, carved into it. And so what that writing is this. As for me, I simply accept and entrust myself to what my revered teacher told me. Just say the Nembutsu and be saved by Amida. Nothing else is involved. Okay, so this is what's written on there at the top. This is from Tanisho. So this isn't something that Shinran himself wrote. It's something one of his disciples remembered him saying. And this disciple wrote it down. So that's what Tanisho is. It's not Shinran's writing. It's Yuienbo's writing. Right? But it's Yuien remembering, the first 10 chapters are remembering what Shinran said, because it seemed like a lot of people weren't getting the message straight or were twisting it on purpose or whatever. So he wanted to set the record straight, and so he writes down a lot of what he remembered Shinran saying. So this statement, whoever did that picture, right, this woodblock print, felt that this was an important part of what Honen transmitted to Shinran. So I'll read it again. As for me, Shinran, I simply accept and entrust myself to what my revered teacher Honen told me. Just say the Nembutsu and be saved by Amida. Nothing else is involved. So, this isn't how I teach Buddhism generally. Just say the name, just say the Nembutsu, nothing else. But that's the core in a way, right? That we're not supposed to depend on self-power. We don't have to be able to understand Buddhism. We don't have to have a lot of information to be able to tell people. We don't have to have a strong grasp of emptiness or of impermanence or interconnectedness, right? That we don't have to have awakened to that in order to get into the Pure Land. Just say the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Just recite the Nembutsu. That's our practice. That's it. Nothing else is involved. But of course, here we are in the modern age, right? And I think a lot of people, maybe myself included, that's not enough maybe, right? And we want to know more. We want to make sure we're not being tricked, right? You're telling me just to say this and I'm supposed to believe you, right? We're skeptical, I think, as modern people. We're rational, right? Why? So we ask lots of questions, right? And so I think that's okay, right? To investigate Buddhism, to keep listening. Buddhism is such a huge array of teachings, right? And I think that we can benefit from more than just reciting the Nembutsu. And so that's why, like to the kids, that the 3 B's, right? And the first 2, be aware, be kind. Right? To me, that's an expression of wisdom and compassion, right? These ideals of Buddhism. Buddha has perfect wisdom, perfect compassion. Shinran recognizes, I can't do that. I can't manifest perfect wisdom and perfect compassion. It's limited. And yet, I think it's really important for us to know these as our values, right? To know these as our ideals, and to have some understanding of that, because then maybe I'll realize when I'm not being like that, right? So that I realize, wow, yeah, my knowledge, my understanding is limited. I don't know what other people are thinking. I don't know necessarily all the sides of the story, so to try and take the bigger picture, take things from another perspective, right? To try and understand the viewpoint of someone else, right? To try and be aware of the impact that I'm having on others, right? I may think I'm doing a great job and being nice, but maybe I'm being hurtful actually, right? You'd think, well, how would that be possible? Well, it happens a lot, And so that awareness of myself, awareness of my impact on others, trying to have an awareness of the way things are, even if it is limited, I think that's okay. To be kind. Kindness, friendliness, compassion, right? These are the ultimate goals of Buddhism, right? And so that, to me, if you're going to be mean, to be mean and do that in a Buddhist way is kind of, questionable. If I'm trying to be kind, and yet I can't help myself but be mean, well, just see it. See it in yourself, right? To try and be aware, to try and recognize that, wow, maybe that was kind of that. No, that definitely was a mean thing to say. Why the heck did I do that? And so even if we can't be kind all the time, we know that kindness is the ideal. Right? That kindness is one way to be Buddhist and an important way to be Buddhist. Ultimately to compassion, selfless compassion. First responders do that, right? Doctors devote their lives to helping people. There's all different kinds of people, social workers, right? Trying to help others. And so I think that follows along with the Buddhist ideals of trying to be kind, trying to be compassionate, but also to have a recognition of my own limitations. And then the be yourself, right? Be aware, be kind, but maybe I'm often not aware and I'm often not kind, and yet be myself? Interesting, huh? To be yourself. So what I want to share is another statement. This is not related to that one. This is from one of the letters of Shinran Shonin called The Lamp for the Latter Ages. And here's what he says. I recall hearing the late Master Honen say, persons of the Pure Land tradition attain birth in the Pure Land by becoming their foolish selves. People in the Pure Land tradition attain birth in the Pure Land by becoming their foolish selves. So this is another hallmark. This is the bombu. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression, bombu, right? Foolish person, ordinary person, right? That's what our teaching is about. Anybody, everybody, right? It's not just for the special few. It's not just for people with certain talents, right? It's for the ordinary person, even the foolish person, right? And so becoming your foolish self, I read that as an aspect of be you Buddhism, right? Or be yourself Buddhism. Becoming your foolish self. You don't have to pretend to be something else. You don't have to pretend, oh yeah, I'm important. Look at everything I know. Now that's what I do sometimes, I can't help it, but that we don't have to do that. You can be yourself, become your foolish self, right? I think this is partly related to beginner mind, right? A lot of times if we go into it like, oh yeah, I know this, I know what to do, you don't have to tell me, right? It's like a lot of times that's when we mess up. When we can accept, oh, I can learn something new, I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you teach me? Right? Learn, look, learn, trying rather than from a point of view of, yeah, I know, don't look at me like I don't know. Instead, no, just be your foolish self. Go into it with an open heart, open mind. Right? Zen talks a lot about beginner's mind. There's even a book, Beginner's Mind, I think, by Shunryu Suzuki. Right? I think for us, it's more of Bombu mind. Right? This foolish mind, foolish person, and that's okay. Right? It's okay to be a foolish person. There's one more that I'd like to share. This is the continuation of this letter. I remember him smiling and saying, as he watched humble people of no intellectual pretensions coming to visit him, without doubt their birth is settled. And I heard him say after a visit by a man brilliant in letters and debating, I really wonder about his birth. To this day, these things come to mind. So Shinran Shonin is incredibly educated. When we look at his works, he can write Chinese, the Buddhist Chinese. He can write in Japanese. The book is huge, the book of his collected works. Incredible knowledge of the sutras. There's just incredible, because I'm teaching classes on Shin doctrine, and it's just this incredible edifice of all this different stuff. And some of it he learned from Honen, but other stuff he was learning on his own. There's a text, I talked about Tanluan recently, right? The benefiting self and benefiting others, right? That Tanluan text was kind of new at the time of Shinran. It hadn't been available. So he takes it upon himself to read it and learn it. He gets other power from that. So Shinran's incredibly smart, incredibly educated. Same with Honen. Honen is high-level monk, right? And so these guys could probably go around and people would be like, oh, you're so smart. And they'd be like, yeah, you're right. And they could have easily gone around like that, but no, right? They understand that you don't have to have intellectual knowledge. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be special, that this is a path open to anyone. Right? And so I love this humble people coming to Honen. And it doesn't say like illiterate, right? But they're just genuine people. And Honen's like, oh, absolutely. Their birth in the Pure Land is settled. That's a big thing, right? Honen realizing that they've opened to the embrace of Amida Buddha. But then the visit by a man brilliant in letters and debating, right? And he's like, I wonder about that guy. I'm not sure. He thinks he gets it, but maybe not, right? Maybe it's too intellectual, right? And too self-power, right? And so just a really, really neat letter. Shinran says himself in one of his wasans, I didn't put it in here, but there's one when he says, I pride myself on knowing the kanji, the Chinese characters, for good and evil. But these people come in that are illiterate, they don't know the characters for good and evil, but they get it. They've Shinjin, right? They entrust in the Buddha. And so Shinran, I think, even in himself recognizes that maybe his intellect gets in the way sometimes. Maybe his pride gets in the way sometimes. And so these, just to me, and I've also been teaching a class on the Seven Masters, and you've heard me talk about Vasubandhu and Tanluan and Daocho and Shandao a few weeks ago. Honen is the seventh of the Seven Masters. Right? Honen, this teacher that was so important for Shinran. And so that relationship, right, is really, really important. Shinran could have been born 850 years ago, become a monk at age 9, and maybe we would never have heard of him. He could have been really smart still, and we'd never hear about him. It's because he has this crisis, right? It's because he loses his way in a way because he's trying his hardest, and it just gets harder, the worse, the harder he tries. But then he encounters Honen, and he has this experience of being embraced as he is. Right? That's the other part of this be you Buddhism or be yourself Buddhism. Amida Buddha accepts you as you are. You don't have to change. You don't have to feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, or I'm not the right kind of person or whatever. right? Amida Buddha accepts you as you are. But I like to think that in that acceptance, in that entrusting, that we're changed by Buddha, right? And that we're transformed. And so, I've seen that in my life. That I guess we could call one of the benefits of Jodo Shinshu, that I believe, is that this can change you. Right? It allows you to see yourself. I'm going to talk to the Junior Y later today for their service, and I'm trying to think about what I'm talking about, what I'm going to talk about, and just thinking back to high school. I had a really hard time. I was insecure. I can't go so far as to call it a learning disability, but I had a study disability. I wasn't a good student at all. I had really hard time studying. And then I took a psychology class, and the teacher asked us to think about something important thing that happened in our life. And like realizing this about myself, and that I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to tell Junior Y. Just mind-blowing, right? To realize, whoa, I understand myself a little better. And it allowed me to kind of go into college with a new attitude. But I think that also might be what got me into Buddhism. When Buddhism came after that and realized, wow, looking at myself, right? To try and see myself. And then finally, finding this teaching to be yourself. To be able to be myself and be okay with that. And yet, in that process, it doesn't mean that I just ignore everybody else. It's because of everyone else that I've been able to do this, right? And it's because of this that I feel like I'm able to be myself, but with others and still with concern for others. So thank you very much. Partly why I'm talking about this stuff this time, this could be good for 2 weeks from now, right? For Gotane, but we have a guest speaker. So I don't get to talk about it then. So you're getting the kind of bonus talk that I might have given in 2 weeks if we didn't have a guest speaker. But we do have a guest speaker. We could save it for announcements, but why don't I tell you now, our guest speaker in 2 weeks for our Gotane service in honor of the birth of Shinran Shonin is Dr. Scott Mitchell. He's the Dean of IBS. He and I did the Dharma Realm podcast for many years. And he's written a new book on American Buddhism, looking at the impact of the BCA community, and I think specifically the Berkeley Temple. And so, that a lot of times American Buddhism ignores the Asians, right? But he's saying no, that Japanese Buddhists, Japanese American Buddhists were a huge part of the formation of American Buddhism in the mid-20th century. So I'm really looking forward to that talk. But for now, why don't we conclude this one with Gassho. I recall hearing the late Master Honen say, persons of the Pure Land tradition attain birth in the Pure Land by becoming their foolish selves. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Okay. Now, let's turn it over, give me a second though, to Robert Noguchi for announcements. He's back.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Buddhist Church of Oakland. It's the first weekend in May. I can't believe it, but here we are, and I have a number of really fun announcements coming up because there's so much going on now as we approach spring and summer, coming up. As you can see by the Buddhist Church of Oakland website, there's some pictures that were recently added promoting the bazaar and our Obon festival. So I'll get to that in just a moment, but that's our website. As Sensei mentioned in the first part of the service, the Dharma School is doing a tote bag and t-shirt sale. And here it is. It's on our website under the Dharma School. And the t-shirts are $25 as well as the tote bags. They really look very nice. So take a look at them downstairs if you're at the church today. And support the Dharma School. As I just mentioned, the Bazaar and Food Festival for BCO will be on Saturday, June 17th, a one-day event from noon till 6. And we're going to have on-site dining this time, and chicken teriyaki, and the Oakland Buddhist Women's Association gift shops and auction will take place, while the children's games set up by the Dharma School, and we're gonna have a new raffle. So it's a lot of new things happening on Saturday, June 17th. And if you're interested in helping, because we will need help, please contact the church or Chairperson John Takagaki. Thanks so much, John. Speaking of bazaars, the Buena Vista United Methodist Church 61st Spring Festival's Bazaar is actually this afternoon, Sunday, May 7th from noon till 5 p.m., celebrating Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, 125 years of faithful hospitality. So many of you know that the Buena Vista United Methodist Church is in Alameda, basically across the street from the Alameda Buddhist Temple. So if you get a chance, maybe stop on over there for their Spring Festival Bazaar. Another event that's happening, a virtual program event, is on Monday, May 15th, called Strings of Hope, the Bandura and Koto for the Ukraine, featuring Ola Olenik, I'm sorry, and Shirley Kazuo Muramoto from the Buddhist Church of Oakland. So that'll be happening on Monday, May 15th, and this is on our website if you'd like more information. Again, another bazaar, Berkeley Buddhist Temple Satsuki Bazaar, 73rd annual, and it'll be a one-day event on Sunday, May 21st from noon till 7, and entertainment from noon till 3. This is again on Sunday, May 21st. That's only in, 2 weeks, right? So come on over to the Berkeley Buddhist Temple on Chanting Way and support the group there. That's really exciting that they're having their bazaar again. And Alameda 2023 Vacation Land Bazaar will take place on Sunday, June 25th, the week after our bazaar. And it'll be, again, a one-day event from noon till 6 p.m. over at the Buddhist Temple of Alameda. So we hope you'll join them over there. Let's go to the Buddhist Churches of America, BCA, BuddhistChurchesAmerica.org website. There's a number of items that you could take a look at. If you scroll down, and you could see events happening and scheduled, and signups and things like that. So please take a look at the Buddhist Churches of America website. Going back to the Buddhist Church of Oakland, there's a number of ways you can donate, and we appreciate and accept donations of any kind. There's a donation page off the main page, and you see you could do it through PayPal, a number of different ways you could do it. So we appreciate and accept all donations. So we thank you very much for your support. One other thing, I guess I want to thank Reverend Bridge for officiating today's service. The host group 2, led by Linda Minamoto, thank you very much for providing hospitality to those attending service today. And the Zoom crew downstairs and all around helping to put together the Zoom and YouTube presentations for today. That's all I have. Thank you very much, and I'll send it back to Sensei.
This will conclude our Dharma Family service. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be following with the Shotsuki in about 5 minutes. But why don't we conclude our Dharma Family service now? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, thank you.